Okay, so I think I first fell in love with music in elementary school because I was in like a chorus class there, and then hearing my piano, like, well, the chorus teacher play the piano, and hearing the keys, it kind of gave me that feeling like I want to do that. Because I think that music has a way of evoking emotions that you can't put in words. And so just feeling that piano gave me that feeling like music is where it's at. So I think I really fell in love with music in elementary school in a chorus class. So who am I? I am a pianist, a musician who loves not only music but poetry. And my goal is to give back to the community. I want people to follow their dreams. I don't want people to give up on what they're doing. And I want to be that role model so people look and go, if he can do it, I can do it. That's who I am. Okay, so one of the things I remember is growing up, taking piano lessons for like maybe a couple of months. And then my parents told me that we couldn't afford it anymore. And that definitely impacted who I am today and what I'm doing with InTune. I remember skipping lunch in middle school and in high school to go and learn from my course teachers. They would like literally sit with me and they would show me how to count rhythms or different ways to know exactly what notes were on the staff and like different tricks you can use to actually read music faster. And so after middle school, I knew that my goal was to be the high school accompanist, and that's what I became. I really focused on what I was doing, became the high school accompanist, and that's kind of like where I learned that I really wanted to teach music. The question would be the why I started InTune Incorporated, and it's because I definitely not only wanted to give back to the people who deserve an opportunity and may not have the financial means. I remember when I was in high school, we had this thing called In Harmony. And so all the high schoolers got together and we sung different songs, and we all had to sing the same songs too. We had a couple of songs we did as our own school, and we had a couple of songs we did together. What I noticed is that there were other musicians from different schools who had like these skills, and they were great musicians, but they couldn't read music. And I was always told that if you wanted to go to college, you had to know how to read music before you got there. And if you didn't, it would be a hindrance. You had to pick another major. And I've seen that happen where somebody would come in and they're a great musician, but because they can't read music, they're told, hey, go pursue another career. Could you imagine getting in front of a door and you're like, I've been working for this whole time, and somebody tells you, hey, you might have to change your dream. That's hurtful, and it's hurtful to watch. So that's why I started InTune Incorporated. I wanted to basically give back to people who have the desire, who have the talent, and just doesn't have the opportunity. I wanted to make sure that I was there to open that door for them. And so that's my passion, that's my dream, and that's InTune's goal. And that's why our mission statement is what it is. We grant people access to study music in a variety of creative ways beyond their financial means. Well, InTune, first and foremost, is an organization that teaches people how to read music exactly verbatim what it's telling you to do, whether it's mezzo forte, which is moderately loud, mezzo piano, which is moderately soft, or it's like diminuendo, which means like gradually get softer, things like that. Because like music is still written in Italian, it's not going to change. We teach them the terms, we teach them how to read the notes, how to read the rhythms, and then after we learn a song verbatim how it's written, we go in and add our own seasoning in. We go, okay, how can we make this measure? Or how can we make this part sound better? What can we do to change this to give it more of a different feel? Because music is nothing but an art form that brings out different emotions, right? So sometimes you can't play exactly what's written in. So we go in and tweak it just a little bit. What is the vision for InTune Incorporated? And I think for us, that vision is to become a bigger organization that branches out, and we have different teachers who teach, whether it's piano, percussion, strings, vocal classes, and things like that. So people who have the talent and deserve the opportunity can go and audition for other places and not get turned down because they don't have the experience or the knowledge of how to pass an audition. We want to be able to open that door for people who, like I said, deserve the opportunity but may not have the financial means. So that's our goal. One of the challenges was in the beginning self-doubt. I think anytime you start something, no matter who's gassing you up, you know like what your flaws are, or you know the things that you can and cannot do. And sometimes that hinders us from like what we're actually trying to do. Sometimes we focus so much on what we can't do. We're like, hope nobody notices, that we forget to go for our whole entire goal as a whole. That's one of the challenges. The other challenge was the finances. When I started InTune Incorporated, I paid for everything out of my own pocket because, I mean, number one, you have to first believe in yourself, and you can't believe in yourself without having some kind of funds these days. Like, you need money. And so when I got to the Cultural Center, they told me about like the different spaces in the CAP program, which is very cheap. It's like maybe $12 a day, but $12 sounds really good until it adds up at the end of the month. You're like, wait a minute, this is a utility bill. And so you're looking at that, you're like, oh, I gotta pay this plus my own stuff. And I'm doing this like to basically make sure I meet my goal, or make sure I'm actually serving the community which my nonprofit is trying to serve. And the challenge of that is, you know, even if you're doing something for free, eventually it's gonna cost, whether it costs the person or costs you. And it was costing me even more, because like, not only am I paying for the space, I'm also paying for the books, so the people who are taking piano lessons can afford them. I'm giving them the books. I'm still paying for it out of my pocket, plus the rent, and giving out free lessons. And that became a little bit of a burden, and I kept getting told over and over again, hey Josh, you gotta charge something. And I kind of felt guilty as a nonprofit. You feel guilty about, you know, charging, because you're supposed to be for the community, but how are you charging the community if you're benefiting them? And so that became a challenge point for me. The other challenge was when I first got here, I'm leaving A&T, like I didn't know anybody outside of the university. I just knew like everybody within my department. And so coming to a place like the Cultural Center, it was like a whole nother world here. One of the challenges I faced was, some people told me, hey, when you go there, you're not gonna get a lot of support. And I was like, well, I'm gonna follow it anyway. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. If I don't get it, I'm still gonna make it work. We were having our first concert in this very building, and I think on the 4th floor, and they let me have the room to go ahead and set it up for the next, you know, the concert we were having. I think it was in 2021. And so I'm going up there, I have my book bag on my back, my books in my hand, and I'm getting ready to set the room up, because I'm like, we gotta have this show tomorrow. I want everything to be nice, because legit, the way you market yourself lets people know how seriously you take what you're doing. And so I'm standing by the door, a lady passed me, she walked by, she smiled, I was like, hey, and everything, right, everything was cool. She walked past me the second time, she looked like she was angry, and I thought, uh-oh, like what's going on? And so because she didn't know me, I guess I'm a black male, she went to the lady who opens the door, and she said, hey, there's a guy up here standing by the door, does he belong here? And I'm like, it's the Cultural Center, what about me looks like I don't belong? And so, needless to say, that's one of the challenges. Like, even coming to a space called the Cultural Center, you still face racism. And as an organization, as a leader, as a president and founder, I mean, even then, race can still be an issue. And so we still face those challenges to a certain extent with certain things, but we try to go beyond that and still focus on what our goal is. What is next for InTune Incorporated? What's next for us is our study abroad program. We're working on that now, because if you're talking about studying samba, bossa nova, reggae, or Italian arias, why not go to the places where it actually derived? So we're going to do a study abroad program where we go to at least one of those countries for at least a week to embrace the culture and embrace the music at its authenticity. So that's our next step. So again, I am Josh Sauls. I am an artist, a pianist, a musician, and I'm the founder and president of InTune Incorporated. And if you guys want to follow us, our tag will be intunegso.org, or you can visit us on Instagram, which is in.tune.123. I was 2. They told me, no, I'm joking. And then when I got in 3rd grade, they said we got to learn cursive and multiply. And I said, how? No, I'm joking.
I started recording.
My bad. Oh, no. See, George be doing that on purpose.